Okay, so again, this is a simple example. I decide to call this guy. I just right-click, I say, okay, open. This actually calls this PHP script that's embedded. Well, that's ringing my soft phone first. And I say, okay, yeah, obviously. Once my soft phone is called, it's going to then call the other contact. And his phone should ring. Is it ringing? Oh, you have it on silent? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, great. I guess everyone heard him. So how this works is that I've put this tiny script in here called the Druid connector into Sugar CRM. And this script actually authenticates with our SOAP server and then sends it a SOAP request saying, you know what, call this guy. Let me get back in. So again, this is the code which converts normal telephone fields into these clickable links. And if you see, the click goes to the Druid connector PHP. Okay, so this is a small code example of our SOAP API. That is a PHP call, which takes in an array as a parameter. And the array has, it's an associative array. So it's got mod, which is basically the Druid module that you want to use functions from. And call is the function. That's why it's called to do. So, what's it you want it to do? I mean, call. Then the arguments are passed in as another array, so it passes it in a number. And this is actually not a standard way to do SOAP, but this is a really good way because you don't have to build these SOAP bindings that are, not very flexible if we extend. So this way we allow us to, make the API really extendable and your app backwards compatible. So that's all it took, this one command, and it generated the call using Druid. Another thing I've kind of worked on is the Android mobile application. The reason I actually did that is because it gives us a few demonstrations in one. For one thing, it kind of shows you how fixed mobile conversions can work with Druid. And secondly, Android is an open source Java-based development platform, so which makes it easy to work with other Java-based development platforms. And obviously it's open source, so we're just putting the code out there. And this is, we haven't yet put this code in any SVN, but I can just hand it out to anyone if you're interested. This is an open source example. So, okay. So let me show you a demo of the Android thingy. Give me a second here. Yeah, it's not the fastest thing. Give it a sec. Okay, I don't know if how many of you know about Android, but it's a mobile operating system released by Google. I'm not sure if it's on any real phones, but this is a simulator, again, by Google. So it's booting up right now. It's entirely in Java and J2ME apps, obviously modified a little work. To develop on it, the apps are usually XML, Java kind of things. So it's still booting up. It's really slow for some reason. Okay, yeah. So this is Android booted up, and you go to all, and this is our application right here, Druid Mobile. Right, now, this again uses SOAP to connect to Druid. So let me just get the IP of our server. So our server was that 162.42131. 42131. Okay, and say I log in as user 1000. So SOAP can authenticate as, this user. And get access to all the functionality this user would have normally got if he logged in through the user portal. So this is a really small example. It doesn't really do too much, but it shows, wait. Sorry? I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. I could try that, yeah. Hold on. I think there's some API conflict. I chose the wrong IP. Hold on. Let me try it again. Well, anyway, with Druid, we've really tried to do some stuff here that is very different from what is available out there. And, yeah.
Are you planning to implement any other plugins such as the Linux mobile?
Yeah, absolutely. We're, in fact, next one in line is an iPhone client that we're working on. Because iPhone is somehow really taking over spaces where BlackBerry traditionally was. So iPhone's being adopted a lot by industry people who traditionally carried a BlackBerry. And yeah, maybe Windows Mobile too, but Windows Mobile is really bad for development. It's C++ pretty much and stuff. And yeah, we're resource constrained a little bit here. But we are evaluating Windows Mobile. That's something big too, I know. More than Nokia, it's probably Windows Mobile, the smartphone. Well, let me just do this again. Well, since the SOAP API is open, maybe someone else might, decide, it's good, important enough to write this in, might come up with a Windows Mobile thing. So I'll just use another server that we have. Say we log in as okay, so the SOAP has authenticated with the server, and now you're at this screen. So I can basically see the missed calls. This is extension user actually had. So it makes a SOAP request, and it says, okay, he had one missed call on his desk phone. This is kind of useful. We could have extended this and, allowed him to click and call and stuff. And this is just an example of fixed mobile conversions, because being able to get things like your call records and stuff in a central place on your mobile phone is very useful, especially considering you could get calls on your desk phone extension or your mobile phone. So this is all through SOAP. Yeah. Okay, so what's next? Well, going ahead, there's a few things we want to do. Firstly, we want to work with the core. We want to move the backend a lot to LDAP and support Active Directory in a better way. Obviously, after listening to Kevin Fleming's talk and some of the other Digium people talking, I think Asterisk-1.6 is really cool. And obviously, it's really new now, but I'm excited about moving to that. It does solve a lot of problems. Like I mentioned, iPhone and language support. So this is something we actually need help from the community for. And Europe has so many languages, and language support is really important here, just like it's important in a few places in Asia. So we actually had a few people who contacted us and are helping us with things like Russian and German. But if anyone out there is interested, feel free to get in touch with me. And it's not that hard to add language support. It's few files. You just have to translate from English to your native language. And well, I'm open to questions or ideas. If you want to know anything about Druid, there's so much to there's so much in Druid that is not